Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Alison Herget. I am Associate Director of International Admission at Villanova University. And I'm joined by a few of our very amazing international students today who are going to be interacting with you one-on-one and answering all of your questions. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in just a second. But first, I just want to kind of give you an outline of what to expect. So if you have a question for one of our current student panelists, what you can do is use that Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And you can type your questions there. I will be moderating the panel, so I will be tossing your questions along to them for them to answer. We have about an hour reserved for this today, so we are going to try to get to as many questions as possible, but if there's a chance we may not get to your question. And if that's the case, all of you who are attending today will actually get an email from us afterward with a link to this presentation, and you'll also receive the panelists' contact information. So if you do have additional questions for them and you'd like to follow up, you can do so that way. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to ask our panelists to briefly introduce themselves, share with you their major, what their year is at Villanova, where they're from, and then we'll go ahead and start taking your questions. So feel free again to go ahead and use that Q&A box, start asking questions now so we have them queued up. And Beste, would you like to start by introducing yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Merhaba to Turkish students there. I'm Beste, and I'm a junior here. I'm studying accounting and management information systems with a minor in theater. Here, I'm the co-president of Business Without Borders Society. I'm in the theater club, and I'm also involved with international student organizations.
Nishika, you want to go next?
Hey everyone, my name's Nishika. I'm from Hyderabad in India. Namaste to all the Indian students. And I am a junior communication major and Spanish minor. I'm also the president of the International Student Organization, and I am a teaching assistant for the service learning community, and I'm involved with the Student Sustainability Committee too.
Ha, you're up.
Thank you, Alison. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Villanova. I am Ha. I'm a senior studying management information systems. I'm from Hanoi, Vietnam, and on campus, I lead the Villanova Consulting Group, in which we bring consulting opportunities to our students, as well as consult external clients on their strategy, marketing, all sorts of things that they might need help with on a pro bono basis. I always tell people that I have two V's in my heart, one for Vietnam and the other for Villanova. So welcome all of you here. Immensely proud to be a Villanovan. And other than that, I'm also a huge Arsenal fan, love soccer, talks about it endlessly. So that's a little bit about me, but feel free to ask any questions away.
Thanks so much. Anna, you want to go next?
Hi guys, my name is Anna. I'm a computer engineer at Villanova with a biomedical engineering minor. I'm from Brazil. Oi, oi. I'm a sophomore, so I graduate in 2023. And I am part of VISO, Society of Women Engineers, and I'm part of Brazilian Student Association.
Awesome. Yeah, you want to go last?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Yaoyao. I'm from Shanghai, China. And thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join the panel today. I'm super excited for you guys. So I'm currently a senior. I study finance and economics at Villanova School of Business. And on campus, I lead International Business Society, Relay for Life, and also I write for the Villanova Wellness blog, Be Well Nova. Super proud of Villanova, and please just ask any question that you have. Happy to answer.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for those introductions. It looks like we don't have any official questions yet, so please don't be shy. Feel free to start asking your questions, anything about academics, about getting involved on campus, about making the transition to Villanova, making friends on campus, any of those types of questions, all of our students would be happy to answer. So it looks like we have our first question that came in. So question about the engineering program and what's that like? So Anna, that seems like a great question for you. You want to talk about sort of what engineering was like in your first year?
Yeah. So on the first semester, every engineer has like the same classes, which I thought was very interesting. So we have chemistry, we have engineering projects, we have calculus 1. So it's very interesting because you get to like meet engineers from several different areas. Villanova, I think, has to offer 5 engineerings. I think electrical, civil, mechanical, computer, and chemical engineer. So I'm really loving it so far. I think the professors are really amazing. I was afraid that since Villanova is such a large school and I went to a small school, that it was going to be very difficult to like communicate with the teachers, but it's actually very easy and they're available all the time. So I'm really liking it so far.
Great. And so yeah, the next question is about students asking specifically about engineering and service opportunities related to that. But I think we could also kind of broaden that for any of you in other majors that maybe have been involved with service or service learning, some type of service projects. What type of projects were those? How did you get involved with them?
I can start since it's based on engineering.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's this program that Villanova has to offer where like all the engineers can like travel to a country and they participate in an engineering project or like remodeling a canal or like something like that. I didn't participate in it personally, but I have friends that went on the trip and they thought it was really fun. So yeah.
Anyone else want to jump in there? So I can just say generally, I mean, Villanovans are very invested in community service. It's kind of a part of our ethos on campus. So there's a great program that happens every year. It's called the St. Thomas Villanova Day of Service. I don't know if any of you have been involved with that or if you know other students who've been involved with that, but it's a nice way to kind of get interested in service. If maybe you've never done it before and you're interested in doing service projects, basically students, faculty, and staff come together and they go out to a few dozen different service sites in the Philadelphia area and do a day of service. So it is just a one-time event, but it's a nice way to kind of get involved with community service and see if there's other opportunities that you might be interested in. So next question we have is about working on campus. So kind of a two-part question. So first, for any of you who work on campus, Anna, I think you do. So what that's like and what you do, but then kind of the second part of the question about internships. So why don't we go ahead and answer the working on campus question first, and then we'll tackle the internships one.
Well, with my experience, I thought it was really easy to find a job on campus. First, you have to get your social security number so that you're allowed to work on campus, and you're only allowed to work on campus. And so once you get that, there's like a web page so that you can apply to many different jobs. But I find that working for dining services is the easiest one. So I worked as a barista. I thought it was really fun. But now I work at catering, which is also really fun. So finding a job is not that hard on campus. And then I don't have any experiences with internships, but there's also career services that help with that. So if you're interested in that, then several opportunities as well.
Yeah, so any of you want to talk about your experience finding internships? Hi, I think you have kind of some experience with that.
Yeah, I can speak to that as well. You know, I came into Villanova wanting to be the next president of Vietnam. So I had lots of aspirations. You know, I still do even until now. But when I came to Villanova, I think there's this business side of it that, you know, attracted to me a lot. I saw all these kids applying to business clubs, and you'd be so surprised to know that the community at Villanova is, you know, is unparalleled. I mean, it's unreal. And that kind of community, whether it's your friends you're having lunch with, whether it's in your business clubs, engineering clubs, Villanova people really do support one another. And I'm so proud to say that, you know, one of my friends was one of the direct reasons why I was, you know, brought to a job opportunity. I had the opportunity to interview at Citigroup, right, in South America. That would be Citibanamex. In Southeast Asia, we also have, you know, cities as well. So I was in the student investment club called Equity Society. And on this one day, you know, my friend just came up to me and said, "Ha, you're a good guy. You perform well in my sector. How would you like to be considered for sales and trading?" I was like, "What? I didn't know what that was." And I was like, "Okay, but I'll take it. I'll take it." Right. So, you know, I came up to him and then he said, "I have a good friend who is a campus ambassador for Citi. I want you to talk to him." And then I actually talked to that guy. His name is Jack. Right. And then the first question Jack asked me about was, "What do you do for fun?" Right. So obviously friends here want you to succeed professionally, right? But they want to have that human side to you as well, right? They want you to succeed both professionally and socially. And I think that's what Villanova is all about. They raise you so holistically. And, you know, I interned at Citigroup in sales and trading just the past summer. And I'll be coming there on a full-time basis. And the entire job, you know, the entire thing started off with a good friendship. So, you know, come to Villanova with an open mind, you know, do a lot of things you're passionate about. And then good things will come. And that is what I always believe. So that's a little bit about my experience. I'll be coming back to the firm on a full-time basis.
Yeah, I love that story because I think it really highlights kind of the power of like the Villanova family and Villanova connections, which I think, you know, is something that a lot of students can really relate to. So anyone else have anything they want to add on that, on internships or experiences or anything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can go.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I really echo with Ha, like for everything he just said. So I think one thing that I can't stress more is the alumni networking and the network at Villanova. I think it's not only about alums, and also it's about like upperclassmen, like how they really want to help out like underclassmen. I think especially at Villanova, like for me, I think I had similar experience as Ha did. Literally for all the interviews, starting from the first round to the third round, it's all helped out by the upperclassmen, and they will give you all the tips, and they will give you all how they've experienced. And then also if you just give a call to the alums, they will really help you out. So I think it's really about this concept of giving back of Villanova. I think it's very different from other schools because everybody really strive for the best and strive for the growth of every person on campus.
So I was going to talk about the co-op program for business students. So most of the internships usually happen in the summer, but you also have the opportunity to be a full-time employer at a company while you're a full-time student as well. So I will do that next semester with SAP, which is a huge company. They have operations in like every country that you can think of. So the interview process was, I think, easy because they want Villanova students. They want to work with you. Villanova has really a great reputation here. So they come to campus, they talk to you, they introduce their companies, and it almost sometimes feels like you are the one who's choosing. I don't want to sound like arrogant, but they do want Villanova students. And for international, so I have to point that not all companies sponsor work visas, but there are definitely so many opportunities still if you look for it. I also have an internship offer for this summer with Ernst & Young, EY, which is a Big Four accounting firm. So I'm really happy with the process that I went through.
Great. Yeah, I think it's good to have some additional context there. And you can see just from, you know, all of the different stories that were just shared, there's, different pathways that the Villanova can help you, reach your goals. So the next question we have is about orientation. So what is it like, when you get to campus, the first time you set foot on campus? What does orientation look like? How did you meet other students and things like that? So Nishika, I might ask you to kind of start this off, and that if any other you want to jump in, you're welcome to do that. But do you want to talk a little bit about VISO and sort of what you do with orientation and also the larger orientation as well?
Yeah, I'd love to. So VISO basically is the International Student Organization on campus, and we're basically like a resource to all the international students, and it's a great community where you can come and feel comfortable anytime. So one of our main programs on campus is to run international student orientation. So we start planning this process in January. We get a bunch of international students together and go through orientation programs, training and stuff. And then in August, 2 days before orientation, we have international orientation. So the minute you step on campus, you have us to help you with move-in and stuff. We take you to Target, take you to Bed Bath & Beyond, get you a SIM card, everything, and pretty much just get you set up in your dorms, because American college dorms are obviously very different from what international students are used to. So I think it's a really fun process of just moving in and getting to know your families. All the students just love doing that. And then the next day is when it gets really fun. We have a bunch of icebreakers and activities, and we have lunch together and get to know each other. And it's a whole day thing where, you just kind of get to meet other international students and also get to talk to upperclassmen and kind of get a feel of campus before all the other students start to come in. So I think it's a great advantage for international students just to have campus to themselves for the first 2 days, to get acclimatized and just get the way around campus before it starts to, overwhelm you. If anyone wants to talk about regular orientation, feel free.
Yeah, so for the regular orientation, so it's a 3-day orientation, and the orientation team at Villanova, they really put up different activities for students to meet each other. So we do icebreakers, we walk around the campus and got to know what is offered on campus. And also just a very great resource that your orientation counselors can be a good buddy. So if you have any questions for the first 3 days, you can always just ask them. And they tend to keep in contact. I'm still in contact with my orientation counselor, which I think is pretty amazing. And also I think there are a bunch of very fun activities that make you to meet people outside your current orientation group. So I remember there was one night that we had a luau, which is everybody dresses in Hawaiian style and dancing around the quad, which was super fun. So I think, yeah, you can really feel the passion of all people from Villanova were very welcoming you during the orientation. And I think it's great. It's very fun.
Wait, I just want to add something really quick. My favorite part about international orientation is our Philly trip. So 1 week after school begins, we take one Saturday, and all the international freshmen and their group leaders, we all go to Philly for a whole day, and it's so fun because we get to go to what is it, Reading Market, I think, Reading Terminal Market, and then we go to the Philadelphia Museum or the Franklin Museum. And it's just such a good time because you're just walking around the city and you get to know Philly. And it's just a 20-minute train ride from Villanova. So you get to take the train together. I think it's just so fun. I'm so sad we didn't have it this year, but hopefully we'll have it next year.
Great. So the next question that we have, I think, is a really good one, and something that a lot of students are thinking about when they're thinking about coming to the US. So the question is, can you please tell me if international students tend to integrate well into the rest of the student body, or do they tend to kind of stick to their own group? So, if I don't know if multiple of you want to sort of talk about that. I think it's a good question, sort of how do you make friends on campus? And how do you also, you have people like yourself that you know, but then also how do you sort of integrate into the larger student body as a whole? So whoever wants to start that, please go ahead.
It's so easy to make friends at Villanova because everyone is always extra nice, extra friendly. So I made most of my friends through the organizations that I joined. International students do not just like hang out by themselves at a separate, like sit at a separate table in the dining halls. It's not like that, definitely not. We are well integrated into the student body. I've never seen like any international student just hanging out with only 2 other people. Internationals are usually really social. They want to make friends. So I personally have, I think, more American friends than international friends, just because you usually be friends with people from your major through the organizations you join or through other activities. But I never had a problem with making friends here, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Beste. I believe that it really depends on how much you put yourself out there. So like even freshman year, even if I was going through like homesickness or culture shock, I made it a point to sign up for clubs, show up for meetings, because that's just how you build your connections. And like you never know like which one of your friendships will just start clicking, and then you have a group of friends going. It's really dependent on how much you want to experience college life and how much you want to diverge from your own comfort zone. I feel like that's what college is all about. If you put yourself out there, like Beste said, a lot of Villanovans are just so like extra nice that no one's just gonna be like, oh, you can't sit with us. That's not gonna happen. Like if you just hit someone up for dinner, hit someone up for coffee, they're gonna respond positively, and you never know, you might make one of your best friends like that.
I was just gonna follow up. I feel like people are more interested in you just because you're international. People want to know how it's like, where you're from, or like what's the difference between your country and Villanova. So I feel like it makes you more interesting to them. And so as Beste, I also have more American friends than international friends. But I feel like they're not all from my major. I have like friends from many different majors, and we just like connected through mutual friendships, which I think is very interesting about Villanova. Like you meet people from many different places, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I really echo with that. I think everybody at Villanova is very nice. So if you really put yourself out there, be open-minded to learn about the new culture, I think you definitely make new friends. And also, I think there are different like culture groups on campus. So if you feel very passionate about like your cultural root, I know like for me, I'm in ASA, which is Asian Student Association, that they really support Asian culture, and you will meet like friends who share the same passion. So I think it's really up to you, I think, but there are a lot to be offered at Villanova.
Yeah, I can add a little bit to it. I think I would offer, this advice is that you live in a learning community freshman year. When I come in, I lived in the leadership learning community, and that was arguably one of the best things that happened to me. In that learning community, everybody is incredibly tight, right? You learn about ancients, you learn about moderns, those kind of cultural courses at Villanova with your group, and you stay friends with that people. And I still do, even until this very moment. So, I roomed freshman year random. It was a random, and it was one of the best things ever. Both great guys, engineers. And then afterwards, I lived with some Vietnamese guys, and now, I live with some American friends again. So it's back and forth, and it's as good as you make of it. So, come to Villanova with both feet, come in with enthusiasm. Doesn't matter your proficiency in English. What matters is your open heart and your enthusiasm. And that's what Villanova is all about. So, come in, and I can be more than certain that you will have a terrific time here.
And Ha, do you want to just talk briefly about the sort of the Vietnamese student population on campus and that community? Because I think there's also something to be said of, of certainly having your American friends and students from other countries, but it's also nice to know that, yes, that there are students, from your home country too, and that you will form connections with them.
100%. So I believe the current Vietnamese population, undergraduate and graduate here, amounts to about 30, and regularly, we would meet on almost a weekly basis, right? It is so tight. Like all the Vietnamese students here, they come from 10 different schools, 5 different cities in Vietnam, and we still meet every weekend. Sometimes we go out for a karaoke. Sometimes we meet up with at one person's house to, I don't know, have a hot pot or like, I don't know, cook. So we're still very tight, and we get to embrace our culture through events like the Tet holiday, those kind of things. So there's always that kind of psychological support if you need. The way I see about it is use have your people from the same home country in which you can share things and confide things about your feelings and how the process you're going through, because they get it so much, they're only going to help you. And on the other hand, you have the Americans counterpart, right? You have people from the area. So ask them how you can, if you're having problem just integrating in just the first few months, talk to them, come up to a lunch and grab a bite, a sandwich or anything. But that spark is incredible. It's going to take you far. So keep connections, keep friends, make friends with both individuals from the same home country, which you'll have no problem with, and be open to the people around you, because they're only going to help you. And people from Villanova are so proud that they go to Villanova.
Great, thanks so much for sharing. So the next question that we have is about, I guess, your transition to campus and sort of what things surprised you the most when you got to campus. So either in terms of culture shock, the weather, just people, anything. So what surprised you the most when you got to campus, and how did you overcome that?
Like we said before, that people at Villanova are just so extra nice. I think that's what threw me off, especially because I'm from India. No one's really strangers are not nice to each other. They just stare at each other. But when I came here, strangers would start smiling at me and they'd ask me how my day was going. I just didn't know how to react. I was just thank you, haha. I didn't know what to say because I was so caught off guard. But I think I was is this what all of America is like? But people were no, this is just Villanova. People are just extra nice. They hold doors open for you. That's a Villanova thing. You have to. And then, yeah, I think just getting used to talking to people, starting conversations with strangers is one thing that I shocked me at Villanova, but I really realized how valuable that is, to be able to talk to a stranger and have a meaningful conversation with them. So I think that's a great skill that I learned from this cultural shock.
Yeah, for me, I think it's Villanova is a Catholic school, and before coming to Villanova, I didn't really know a lot about religion. So coming in, I have zero knowledge. But I was kind of a little bit nervous because I feel maybe people can bond due to religion that I know nothing about it. But I feel when I actually arrived on Villanova, I think it's amazing that you can learn so much that I probably would not learn about religions. But I think on Villanova campus, they were talking to friends, some of my closest friends, they're very religious. And also from learning in theology classes, I think it's very interesting because you have different perspectives. You learn about different religions, and you kind of, through the lens of religion, you can actually understand the society. You can understand what's going on. So I think it just really provides you a different perspective. And I think it's one of the amazing things that I think I've learned. And I think I'm very happy just because I think it definitely just adds another layer to your whole experience. So, which I think is pretty great.
Going off with what Yayo said, so I thought this school would be more Catholic. Like, I don't know how to put it, but like no one, like I thought everything was gonna be about religion or like, oh, like I will have to talk about it, this and that. But no, everyone just, they accept that everyone has their own faith and no one is trying to convert you or anything. If you don't choose to involve in religious activities, you don't have to. And it's not like a weird thing to do. It's just everyone is just keeping it to themselves. Definitely, it's not like always out there, like no one is forcing you to do anything. So.
Anyone else have anything to add on that? So the next question is about so what is there to kind of do on campus, around campus, the surrounding area, and then maybe also, you know, Philadelphia. Talk a little bit about going into the city, you know, how you get there, what types of things there are to do, what do you do on the weekends, that type of thing.
I can go. Okay, I go to Philly a lot. I love the city. It's so easy to access to the city. You just take a train. We have a train station on campus. It's right next to my apartment, my dorm apartment. So it's really easy. So you take one train. It takes about like 25 minutes to arrive to the center of Philadelphia. And once you're there, there are just so many different restaurants and different cuisines, different activities to do. Of course, right now, because of COVID, you cannot do everything. But some of the things that me and my friends did last year was we would go to like bowling or like to a movie. We would just go sit at like outdoor restaurants. We would go to different parks. There's a Penn Landing in Philadelphia that's really pretty. Yeah, it's definitely a fun time. Does anyone else have anything to add?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Beste. I love going into Philly because they always have like events and stuff going on. But like she said, due to COVID, not everything's open. But like last year, I used to go to concerts in Philly. There's some like cute little restaurants where they have like live music, and they just have like a lot of places that it's like mini New York. That's what Philly's called around here. So it's like you always have something to do, and it's so easy to get there because it's only 25 minutes by train and costs like $6, $7, I think. So yeah, and off campus around here, this neighborhood is so pretty, like Bryn Mawr, Haverford, Wayne. All of these places have such cute cafes and restaurants. I love going there off on weekends and just like studying or getting coffee with my friends. Because yeah, it just gives me such a European kind of vibe. I love it.
Yeah. Also, I know.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know Villanova has shuttles. So there are like shuttles that you can take like to go to like off-campus places like Brainmore, Haverford, which is like pretty close. And also there are like weekend shuttles that you can go to the mall, King of Prussia. I think it's the second largest mall in the United States, which is pretty crazy. And I remember it's pretty fun that like freshman, sophomore year, like we go like every weekend, we go to the mall for food, go shopping and everything, which is super convenient. And also like for Philly, I think Philly has a lot to offer. I don't know if any one of you is a fan of art, but there's the Philadelphia Art Museum that in Philly, which is amazing. I go there a lot, and there's a very nice trail along the river next to the museum, which is amazing. Yeah, I just think it's great that you have the laid back lifestyle at Villanova, and also you can choose to go to the city only 20 minutes to have the city life.
Yeah, I was also going to talk about the shuttles. There's a shuttle during the week that takes you to Suburban Square. And in Suburban Square, you can find a bunch of different restaurants and like boba tea, which I love. And it's really cool and it's really fun and pretty, especially during the night when there's like a bunch of different lights. It's super pretty. And another thing, there's a place to ice skate during the winter in Penn's Landing, which I went to for my birthday. And it was so fun and it's so pretty. And you just take the train there and it takes you right there. So everything is connected by the train. So if you want to go somewhere, you can go there.
And speaking of the winter and ice skating and things along those lines, what was it like for you adjusting to the climate? This is something I get a lot of questions about. I know a lot of students are very anxious, oh my gosh, there's snow and it's going to be really cold all the time. Can you talk about that? What was it like getting used to having 4 seasons, and how did you prepare for that? What kind of winter gear did you have to buy? Did you have to buy any? Do you like to have snowball fights with your friends?
I was actually petrified of the winter because the winter before I came to college, I was in Rome and it got really, really cold and I started crying. I'm like, this sucks. Like, this is my life. This is what my life is going to be next year. I'm going to be crying every day because of the cold. But so my mom got really scared for me and she got me like a bunch of jackets. But honestly, the only jacket that I need is this one North Face one. If anyone's interested, please email me. I'll let you know. That jacket keeps me warm all the time, like rain, sleet, snow, anything. You can wear that jacket. But yeah, I think it's really cool to adjust to the new seasons because I love fall. Like I wake up and look at all these orange trees outside, and Pennsylvania gets the best fall foliage, so you can see all the trees around you change colors, and I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Here in Salvador, we don't really have seasons. We have like rain and we have hot summer. So it was very different for me. Like you get to see all the leaves falling from the trees, and then when it snows, everything is white and so pretty. And then in the spring, you get to see the flowers blooming. So it's like very different for me, and I thought it was so pretty. And although it's like cold, it's doable if you have a proper jacket. Like it's something to get used to, but it's very pretty.
Awesome. So the next question that we have is, I guess, sort of related to, fitting in on campus. So the question says, does any of you suffer sort of imposter syndrome? How are international students accepted at Villanova? So I think we touched upon this a little bit already, but do any of you want to answer that question specifically?
I did not.
Okay, go first.
Okay. So I thought I would have that, and we are so positive that it's maybe hard to believe for you guys, but we are being 100% honest. They are really interested in like learning about your culture. My professors would just have coffee chats with me just to learn more about Turkey and my experience coming into Villanova. And most of the friends I made is actually through those questions, like how is it being an international student? Like what are the differences? How was your perception of Americans? Like they're really interested to learn about those things. And I thought I fit in. Of course you are different, not gonna lie, like you're not, I don't know, at least for myself, I never felt like I'm an American now, or like I fit in 100%, because of course like everything is different here than your home country. So there will definitely be challenges, but I don't think anyone is gonna like single you out because of your nationality or your race.
Yeah. So I mean, I know the concept of the syndrome. I just looked it up again, just to make sure. But I would probably assume that would be the feeling of, I don't know, sometimes you don't feel like quite you belong, or like you start to doubt yourself, those kind of things. Fear of being exposed. I myself, I've never felt that way. Um, and I can speak to a lot of my friends who are also international, that they feel welcomed here. Because Villanova is is all about community. And I cannot stress that enough. Like, if you're having problems with something, someone will help you pick it up. That's for sure, right? Someone is going to be that catalyst. You will always, almost always have someone you can share with, and someone that can help you out, whether it's professionally, whether it's academically or socially, psychologically. And people just kind of, they're so proud because they're Villanovans, and they're proud to go to the school, and they're proud to support one another. I personally don't think that I myself or my international friends suffer from it, because of the reasons and because of so many things our panelists have been speaking so far. But if there is a problem, right, you might encounter numerous difficulties. You will have someone to help you untangle it. And it is absolutely fine having a problem, right? You're traveling 9,000, 6,000, 3,000 miles away from home, right? But do know that someone is going to be here to help you.
And yeah, and just sort of one thing I'll add on that. I think that's a great point, and I think that it's also, of course, I don't want to speak for our students, but I think it's nice knowing that you're in a place where people are going to listen and they're willing to make changes if there need to be changes. And I know that, Nishika, I think you were telling me, recently that there's going to be an international student representative on the undergraduate student government body now too. Is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that just goes to show you that we are interested in making changes and making sure that if there are issues that all of our students feel heard and feel like they have the appropriate avenues to be able to address those concerns as well. So okay, so next question we have, what's your favorite campus tradition or dorm tradition? So I guess, yeah, in terms of any favorite traditions on campus, events that you go to, things you like participating in?
The first thing that comes to mind for me is the basketball games. So those, I'm pretty sure you must have heard Villanova are national champions in basketball. So our basketball culture is just so fun. Like, you go to basketball games with your friends, and sometimes you get to go to Philly at the Wells Fargo Center because that's where Villanova plays sometimes. And those are the best because we have like tailgates. I'm not sure if you guys know, but tailgates are just you get together in the parking lot behind the arena, and just like there's loud music, drinks, and like people everywhere. And that wouldn't happen in COVID, but when it did, it was just super fun because you get to see a bunch of people that and then watch the game together, and it's just so hype.
I think one of my favorite tradition is, I think Nova has a lot of like service related things happening like all the time. So like we have day of service, which happens like each semester, that you can go with your student organizations, so with your friends, and you just go to the place and to do service that day. Or there's also Special Olympics, which is very huge on campus. Is that on that day we will have like people like from all places of Pennsylvania coming on Villanova campus, and then you can cheering people up, you can hold like different activities as student organizations as well, which is huge on campus. So there are a lot of like other service related events on campus all the time, which I think is great. I think it really echoes the Villanova values, the Veritas, Unitas, and Caritas. And I think it's just so amazing that you realize that you can do a little stuff to give back to society and to do a little good. And I think that's really all Villanova is about, which I think is amazing.
Great. So the next question is about safety. So do you feel safe on campus? How safe is the campus and the surrounding areas?
Villanova is so safe. Like you will feel so safe at Villanova. There's like campus security and they go around during the night. So even if you feel unsafe, like there's gonna be someone there to protect you. And I feel like compared to my country, it's definitely more safe to like walk around during the night and like just, I don't know. I feel like it's safer than I am ever imagined.
Yeah, I feel like Villanova is a pretty closed campus, even though like it is in the Villanova like city township. Sorry, I feel like there's always public safety vehicles around, and for me, they also have this thing where public safety vans can drive you from place to place on campus if it's past like if it's late at night or anytime, honestly. If you feel unsafe and you call them, they'll come pick you up and drop you on campus wherever you need to go. And I've used that a couple times, and it's the best because you don't ever have to feel like you're unsafe walking alone on campus.
Great. So the next question is about, so what's it like living on campus? What are the residence halls like? What was it like finding a roommate, living with another person, all that sorts of good stuff?
I think you fill out a form before coming to Villanova indicating your preferences for your roommate. And based on that, they select a roommate for you, like based on your interests and like if you're a smoker or non-smoker, like who would you prefer if you go random. So I did that and it turned out really well. One of them, I was in a room with 2 other people. So it was a small room, definitely it was small. And but they changed it after our year. So now it's only it's only doubles. There's no triples on South Campus, which first year students usually live. One of them ended up being my girlfriend, my good friend. And the other one, I don't talk too much with her, to be honest, but like you cannot be friends with everyone, of course. But if you like be specific about your preferences, I think you'll be fine. Or you can also choose your own roommate. You can just meet through different platforms like Facebook, Instagram. I know that people reach out to each other and just decide to room together. So that's also an option.
I was actually on main campus. I don't know how that happened. I got a single. That is so rare for your first year. Usually you get a roommate. But I feel like living on campus is so fun because you wake up and you're like already there. You just have to walk to your class and there's like different coffee shops, the Holy Grounds at Villanova. And like, I feel like there's so many options and it's so cool that like, you're already there. You just have to wake up like 15 minutes before class and go running to your next class. And I feel like that's very useful for your experience as a student.
Yeah, living in dorm is kind of awesome. I mean, I've lived in dorms for like forever. I mean, the only time I wasn't in my dorm was when I studied abroad. I'm already studying abroad here, but studied another abroad in the United Kingdom. But to the question of, living on campus with dorms and assimilation with friends, my advice is to go random. You have your preferences, but go random. And my judgment is that Villanova is going to give you very, very good roommates. I personally had 2 roommates, both Americans, freshman year, both engineers. One chemical, the another, I think, electrical. I didn't know a thing about, their majors or stuff, but what I did know was that one of them brought me home for their Thanksgiving and the other brought me home for their Christmas. So, it's so good that the people here are incredibly welcoming. And you can just almost talk about anything. I mean, I don't think I ever had a problem with my roommates. The only problem I had was I always had 3 alarms, and at one time my roommate couldn't take it anymore. They're like, shut your alarm off. And I sent him an apology note, which he found was very funny. He's like, what are you doing? Just no. So so that was the thing. I mean, stay good friends with him. I'm in a group chat with him and 4 other guys, and we still talk until now. Every now and then we go out for a sushi, so forth. Live with some Vietnamese friends afterwards in my junior year. So the chances are always there. You can live with your American counterparts. You can live with your people from your same homeland, in which you can cook meals, have greater familiarity. But I would encourage you to have maximum exposure to just a little bit of everything, because that's what Villanova is so beautiful about. The people here, makes the institution so great, from all of us underclassmen to upperclassmen, to the faculty. It's phenomenal.
Great. So the next question, I think we touched upon this a little bit earlier, but I think it's worth kind of revisiting in some more detail. Just about sort of networking opportunities, whether that's kind of in an informal or a formal capacity. So the opportunity to kind of network with alums, with upperclassmen, for maybe finding an internship, for finding a job, for finding research. Does anyone want to touch upon that?
Yeah, so I can answer to that. So I think for internship, I think the most important thing about finding internship is to get familiar with the timeline and the process. And I think that's something it's hard for us to navigate ourselves. And I think that's the point where the upperclassmen, they really come in. So I think I can speak to the School of Business. I'm at Villanova. I think for all the recruiting going on, I think it's very important if you join any business society on campus, that I know upperclassmen, they will send out all those newsletters telling you like what are the deadlines, what is the process. And also I know there are a lot of workshops that you can attend that they will give you advice about all those recruiting. And also I think just, for me, I remember when I tried to recruit like for one company, I just reached out to an upperclassman who interned there last summer, and he gave me the whole run through of the program, run through of all the interview questions, and he did mock interviews with me as well. So I think just be proactive, and I think you will get what you want.
I can also say that there's like events every semester to meet employers. Like there's this big event where there's a bunch of employers, and you can just go there and you can meet with many different people. So that can like jumpstart your networking process. But I feel like every college has their own little thing for like career. So for engineering, we have this thing called Career Compass, and it's like an online course. But we also have like many different things. Like this semester, they gave us a mentor, which is like someone who graduated, an alum from Villanova, and we get to talk to them to see how their experience was graduating from Villanova and going into their jobs, and how that process went. So I feel like that's really helpful for us to get to know how it goes.
Great. So we have just a couple of minutes left, and I think this is actually a great question to kind of end on. So the question is, what is your favorite part about Villanova? I think most of our students would say they have kind of a Villanova story, right? Something that brought him here, something that keeps them here, keeps them engaged in the Villanova family. So we'll just kind of go around here, and I'll just ask all of you if you can just share, what is your favorite part about Villanova?
I think for me, just like being on campus surrounded by my friends and just knowing that it's such a like comforting community for me now. Like it took me a while to call this place like home. So like I feel like I finally gotten there, and I just like that feeling of being in a community of like like-minded students. And this campus is so beautiful. Like I love walking around campus even when I don't have like class to go to, especially now since we don't have a lot of in-person classes. I just like love finding different spots on campus to like sit down and like do work and just kind of watch the sunset, or like go to the church and just hang out with my friends. It's such a like, I don't know how to describe it. This place feels like home, and I feel like that's what the Villanova community embodies. And I feel like that's something you have to experience to know for yourself that, you know, this place is just such a great community to come to and spend and like interact. Your first like experience with America should be something that makes you feel like this, is what I would say.
I think that my favorite thing is definitely my friends. I have very strong friendships, and I had to come back home because of COVID, so I'm in Brazil right now. And I feel like I still have a very strong bond with everyone that I made friends with during the first semester and half of the second semester. So I feel like it is very easy to make friends and strong friendships that are going to last throughout your entire life.
I think my favorite part of Villanova is I like how the school is very practical. And at the same time, I think it really focuses on humanities and all those values. I think that's what I get the most from it. I think it's practical in a way that it prepares you well for going forward after graduation, right? It tells you like how to communicate with people, how to develop leadership, how to, you know, be a person who can really be helpful to others. I think it's practical in the way. I think that's also why a lot of people like graduating from Villanova ends up with having a job that they know what to do with their lives. I think on the other hand, I think it really focuses on humanities and those values, which I think is something that I've never really thought about. I think coming to Villanova, I think, you know, learning from friends, talking to professors, learning all those different courses, it really makes you think like, what really makes up us, you know, how you define success? What do you want in 10 years? What can you do to the society? I think those are the questions that during the 3 years here, I've been thinking about. I think it's really important that you know that you want to earn a living. At the same time, you know that you want to do good to the society. You want to give back. And I think Villanova gives you exposure to understand like what does that mean and how can you be a person like that. So I think it's more about different perspectives, and I think this perspective can really lead you a long way, I think, upon graduation even.
Yeah.
My favorite. Oh,
Nope.
you want to go?
First. Yep.
Okay. My favorite part is I think I always feel like there's someone there for me when I need help. Like someone always got my back almost. Especially professors. Like when you feel like you cannot like understand the material or like you're struggling with the class, you just go ask for an appointment from a professor, and they're always available to meet with you. They will always make time. I found that really like that was shocking to me because like in Turkey, professors are now like always available for their students because like they have a larger student body. I don't know, but here when you need help, they will just try to help you. Like one of my accounting professors helped me so much to get an internship, and I ended up getting it. So they provide you connections, guidance, mentorship. That was really important to me.
Yeah, I'm just going to end it here with, you know, echoing everybody has said here. You know, Villanova has a space so special in my heart, and that is because of our people. The people at Villanova are incredibly talented, and you know they have everything there is to offer, right? Like, and Villanovans help Villanovans. Always remember that. You know, I was in New York City once, and I was just in this barber shop, and I only had a polo with a Villanova shirt on, and then there's another guy who was also in that shop and said, "Hey, kid, you go to Villanova?" In the end, he ended up paying for my haircut just for no reason, just because I'm a Villanovan, right? That's what Villanovans give to one another in very unexpected times. You just don't know, right? And when I go to Cape Cod, Massachusetts, when I go to the beach, I see people giving their V's up because they're so proud that they come to Villanova. You don't have to know one another. You just have to know that you came to Villanova, you came to this beloved institution in which people from various majors, you know, backgrounds, they're always going to be there. Like, you know, like four or five of us here has been saying, it only gets better, and people are always supportive of one another. And, you know, I wouldn't be where I am today without Villanova, and I'm always humbled and I'm always honored to be here. So, you know, keep those things in mind when you consider your colleges, but our community is something that we're always so proud of.
And what an awesome note to end on. Thank you so much to all of our panelists. We'll give you a big virtual round of applause. I am so glad that all of you were able to join us today and share your stories with some of our prospective students. I think it's really, really helpful. So as I mentioned earlier, there will be a follow-up email going out within the next 24 hours that will have my contact information as well as the contact information of our panelists. So if you do have any follow-up questions, please feel free to stay in touch with us. So thank you so much to everyone for attending. We really appreciate it, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.